Hey guys, it's Jan, also known as Unbluster, and today we're going to show you guys how to pair your batteries. Okay, so pairing your batteries, the easiest way to do it is if you measure your internal resistance. And if you have a smart charger like this, the SkyRC NC2600, then you can pretty much do it fairly easily. The charger can measure the internal resistance on the batteries per cell. Okay, so why do you want to pair your batteries? Okay, so pairing your batteries basically means you want to pair batteries that have very similar internal resistance numbers. Basically, they're going to be measured in milliohms. Ohms is basically like the measurement of resistance. So so what I have here is the Energizer 2000 milliamp hour batteries, and basically I bought these just so that we could have a demonstration on how to measure internal resistance. So you want to pair them, basically pair and match the internal resistance of batteries. So okay, and honestly the easiest way to do it is with these with chargers like these. So all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna be using the discharge function on the NC2600, and what you want to do is you want to measure the IR with a little bit of what do you call it, discharge rate, not a lot, because if you use a lot, that'll heat up the battery much faster than normal, and heat is actually uh, going to increase, not increase, but decrease the internal resistance, and it's probably just going to give you a less accurate measurement of IR. Okay, so right here, we're going to pop them in, and then we are going to choose discharge. So down, down, discharge, and then choose 100, discharge, 100, discharge 100, discharge 100. Okay, so as you can see, the app is now showing that it's discharging right here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into details and we're going to look at the numbers for the battery resistance. So cell number 1 is at 121, so we're going to go ahead and write that down. 1, we're going to attempt to write that down, 121. The next cell is at 121 as well, so that's pretty good. Those are two similar cells. The next cell is 124. Okay, 124. The next one is, let's see, 121. Okay, so all of them are fairly similar, so we don't have to worry about too much of a change other than the third cell. So we're gonna put that here, right? So we know exactly what position those cells are. And we are going to make a note of what's what. So we're going to go back to the home menu. All right, so now we are going to measure the next 4 batteries. So do the same thing, just place them there and then just wait until you're ready to pop them in. Okay, so let's pop them in. And we're going to go ahead and discharge 100, discharge 100, discharge 100, discharge 100. Okay, so we've gone through that. Now let's look at the numbers real quick. All right, details again. So the first one is showing 120. All right, so we're putting 120. Next one, let's take a look. Okay, 120. Okay, and then the next one, 121. And then the next one, the fourth cell, is 123. Okay, so now that we know the numbers, what we're gonna do is we're going to match them. So we have two cells that are pretty much the same. They're kind of high, so we're going to match this cell with the cell over here. Let's move it up a little bit closer so that the camera can see. All right, so 123 is the far right cell right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna match that up to 124. 124 is this cell right here. So let's move that over here, right? And we'll X that out. We'll put 123 right there. And then there's 4 different 121s. So okay, we're gonna move this 121 over here, right? So that these are paired now. And then let me see, this 121, we're gonna move that over to the 4th one right here. So let's take this, cross that off, and then we're gonna put 121. All right. So next, let's not mix those up. Next is we're gonna pair up the two 120s. As you can see, those are both our lowest resistance batteries. So I'll just mark this off, and then 120 right there. There you go. Okay, so what we're gonna do, just so that we minimize our confusion, is that we're gonna put the 120s together. So these are the two 120s right here. Far right, let's write that down. 120, or label that as 4. And then the 121s right here. Number 3, 121. And then we have another pair of 121 over here. Let's slot these over here side by side, and then we're going to move these here. So number 2, 121. And then over here, number 1 is 123. Okay, so all right. So now that we've paired the batteries, exactly why do you need to do pairing? The reason why you want to do pairing is that the lower resistance batteries are actually going to be a little bit better in terms of pushing power, basically. That means they are able to push more current out of the cell more quickly. So in terms of racing, what you want to do is, if you're going to be using these for maybe high speed, or if you want a consistent push of power, you want to use the lower resistance batteries. So the two 120s over here are going to be a lot better in terms of using them for high speed, or even just for regular technical racing. They're going to allow you to have a more consistent push of power in comparison to the high resistance batteries. Okay, so the higher resistance batteries, what's going to happen with them usually is that they have the tendency to heat up a lot faster than normal. And what that can do is that, like, the quicker that the battery can heat up, the more likely it is to have a sudden voltage drop. So the higher resistance batteries, what you're going to see is that, like, if you have an older set of batteries, let me see if I could show you guys a slightly older set of batteries. Okay, so these are quite old right here. Okay, let's see if we could look at these Fujitsus right here. And so now let's use the same. Oh, it's charging instead. I waited too long to interact with the batteries. Okay, pop, pop, down, down, discharge 100, down, down, discharge 100. Okay. So now we're going to check the details of these batteries. All right, so these actually have fairly low resistance still, which means I've been using them because these are older batteries, so they have a little bit more cycles to go through them. So the first cell is at 121 milliohms, and then the second cell 0 ohms. No, 116 milliohms. Okay, so this one, in terms of discharge, not discharge, but internal resistance, is going to be a little bit higher than this one. So as you can see, these two batteries aren't paired. So let's just take these out. And so the older the cells get, the more resistance that they get. And one of the things that you're going to see if you've been racing long enough is that the cells that have higher resistance, or like the older they are, the more likely it is for them to suddenly have a drop in power. And you've seen them before, you know, where they're like, oh, the car's running, and then it just suddenly drops, right? It suddenly slows down, and then you check, and then it smells like the motor is fine, like the motor hasn't burned out. The only other reason for it to would happen is that maybe if you have your terminals come off. If it hadn't, if it was still okay, then it's your batteries. That means your batteries are kind of old now, and basically by then you got to replace them, basically, because they're going to be inconsistent for you. And the low resistance batteries, they're going to be more consistent, and they're going to be able to push more power more consistently and more quickly as well. So all right, this has been my small tutorial on exactly how to pair your batteries. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, and share. And thanks for watching. Go race.